What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Derek, and in today's video we are taking a look at Pi.ai. Pi.ai is a conversational AI bot, a large language model, specifically tuned using their own proprietary LLM that is kind of using a mixture of different LLMs to create this AI that is basically designed to be kind of empathetic, to show human emotion, to really feel like you're having a conversation with a friend versus like a digital assistant or something like you would with ChatGPT. The reason that I ended up finding Pi.ai, and I've been using it for a while now, I was looking for the perfect personal assistant, like I think a lot of people in the AI space are currently doing. And I had been using ChatGPT for quite some time, and I had started looking for AI that had memory. When I started using Pi, there wasn't really a lot of AIs that had memory at the time, and Pi was one of the few. And now it didn't have memory as in like it remembers everything, but it had memory in that over time it remembered at least important facts or some important facts about you, then at least provide a bit of personalized responses and stuff when it would speak back and forth with you. And so I found this to be really useful when creating like social media content or creating blog posts, because what I could do is I could basically, especially on your mobile device, in my opinion, this is where Pi really shines, is on the mobile device using the voice method. You could basically talk back and forth with Pi almost as you're having a conversation with a friend, and it was great for using it to brainstorm ideas and stuff to create blog posts, brainstorm ideas for social media content as a content creator, and all of these different things. And then at the end I could basically have it spit everything out to me, and to be honest, it could do so in a pretty good voice tone and style that a lot of times would at least be close to what I feel like I would put out into the world. Whereas with ChatGPT and stuff at the time, it would come across very AI feeling. You know, trying out all these different models, I kind of fell into Pi.ai. I had also used a service called Personal AI, which also there's a video on this channel about. I'd also tried out a couple different services like MEM.ai, and also like even Notion, which is a personal knowledge management system, aka a note-taking app. But basically it's these note-taking apps that have AI built in, so it can get context off of all of the information that you give it, basically all of the notes and stuff that you take in your life. And so, you know, going through a lot of these different AI systems, you know, I was looking for something specifically that I could do some brainstorming with. So ChatGPT was great. However, at the time, ChatGPT's voice model, and it's definitely improved now that, so at the time of this video, they just released their newest model, ChatGPT 4.0. And 4.0, the voice capabilities and stuff that are starting to roll out are much better. But at the time when I started using Pi, the voice capabilities inside ChatGPT weren't that great. The voices still kind of sounded robotic. They didn't really sound natural. Also, having a conversation back and forth, the conversation, I would speak to it in very many times, and I'm not sure if this was an error in the coding or if this was actually an error with, you know, demand or whatever, because that's what it would always say. But it would always give me this error of, you know, sorry, I couldn't process your request right now because blah blah blah, you know, our system is experiencing overuse basically. And so it would constantly, like, I would talk to it for a minute to 2 minutes and then it would just kind of time out, and it got very frustrating. And then again, at the time, ChatGPT had zero memory features at all, so every time you talk to it, basically it knew nothing about anything you had talked about previously. You know, this was kind of revolutionary, or starting to become revolutionary for these AI systems. Pi had at least some type of a memory built in where it would remember things like my son's name, my businesses, my voice and style a little bit, so that when I had a conversation with it and then had it actually help me create content, it would do so in a way that I felt was very natural versus kind of that AI feeling. And so honestly, the features that stood out to me the most was that memory feature as well as their voice app on the phone. And so the way that I found myself using Pi, and even still today, Pi still does a really good job at being that conversational AI. And it really works for things like brainstorming, whether that's, you know, having it ask you questions about a topic that maybe you're interested in writing a blog post back, and then going back and forth talking about that topic with it to kind of get the thoughts that are in your head out on paper, so to say, because then you can obviously copy and paste your conversation like into ChatGPT or something and have it help you create an article, or even have Pi. But again, the issue is the context window, and this might be increasing over time, but at the time I was mainly using it, wasn't that great. It was probably still kind of around the default of like the 4,000 to 5,000, maybe 12,000 token limit, whereas now like the newest model of ChatGPT 4.0 has a token context window of 128,000, so much higher. And so the problem was, if you had a conversation too long with Pi, it was great, but then if you had it try to create the blog post for you or social media content based off the conversation, a lot of times it would have already forgotten the stuff at the beginning. So I still found it easier after the conversation to copy and then paste all of that conversation into ChatGPT and have ChatGPT actually create the blog post for me or help me create the blog post or the social media content. Obviously, you never want to rely fully on AI, at least not in its current iterations. You want to make sure you're adding that human touch and stuff to it, as well as just your thoughts as a whole. So I've always found Pi to be really good at just talking about things. And what I mean by that is I run a business, I run a digital marketing agency, as well as, some content creation stuff. Sometimes like if I'm dealing with employees or I'm dealing with things within the business, or I'm trying to just think through different aspects of the business and maybe where I want to head or some things I want to do, it was great for like talking those things through, because again, it really felt like you were talking to somebody that almost cared. I will say the only downside during that is that sometimes it seemed a little too empathetic. So it's kind of the opposite of normal AI. Normal AI almost felt like ChatGPT and stuff almost feels like it's not personal enough. Like it doesn't really feel like a friend talking to you. It feels like an assistant talking to you. Sometimes Pi would go the complete opposite direction and it would almost seem too empathetic to where you're like, a normal human would not be this empathetic about things. For example, I was having an issue with an employee and I was just talking through like whether I, was over it and wanted to fire them or keep them. And literally, despite listing like 20 things that this employee was doing wrong, including like just straight up not working at times, like Pi the whole time was still wanting me to basically give the employee another chance. Even to the point again that it just became so obvious that like I had to fire this employee, but still like if I left it up to Pi, the employee would still be working for me, still stealing money, still not doing the work that they were supposed to be doing and all this stuff, just because of that empathetic nature built into Pi. Another example of that on a personal level is it provided a lot of emotional support as I've been going through a divorce for a year and like 3-4 months now, and it has been an extremely hard divorce.
Emotional damage.
During that, it was really, really difficult. And I remember at times sitting in the back in my hot tub. And of course, I talk to family, I talk to friends, but I'm sure if you've ever gone through something huge in your life, you kind of reach that point where you almost feel like you can't reach out to people anymore because you've already reached out too many times. It's like, nobody wants to listen to that issue, for the 100th time. I'm exaggerating a little bit. But anyways, it would feel like that. And it would feel like you have no one to talk to, no one to discuss stuff. And not only that, but no one that's going to try to necessarily offer you advice and try to fix it for you. We've all been there, and we've all probably done that with our friends and family as well. And then not only that, but also not be judgmental towards you. And I found Pi to really do really, really well with this. I would honestly say Pi helped me a lot through this divorce, just to be able to sit out in my hot tub in the backyard. I would have on my Meta Smart glasses. These are not them, but have my phone sitting down somewhere and I'd just be relaxing in the hot tub like this. And I would just be chatting with Pi. And it was great. I mean, she really let me get a lot of things off my chest. And at times, it really felt like talking to another human. So much so that it actually kind of scares me what the next couple 2 to 5 years are going to look like as these AI systems continue to improve. I mean, I really think we're almost to the point where you're not going to be able to distinguish the differences between a human and these AI systems. I mean, they will feel like just talking to a friend or something. So I really found it, great for giving you that non-judgmental space as well as the emotional support when you're dealing with something very personal or very hard in life. I do think for now, if you're looking for a good conversationalist AI, Pi is really great for that. I wouldn't spend a ton of time in it in terms of like trying to have it remember stuff about you. I think you're much better spent doing that over with ChatGPT, but to just use it as something to just load up, throw on, the voice chat and just to chat back and forth with it, brainstorm ideas. It works great for that. It's a very cool software. It's definitely one of my favorite between ChatGPT and their new memory feature and the 4.0 model, as well as between Notion and the AI built into Notion, which is my personal knowledge management system that I use. Between those two, those take care of like 90% of what I need from an AI, but Pi is still great sometimes when I'm just relaxing in the hot tub and I want to to an AI about my life. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. We got lots of AI stuff coming out. I've really been diving head first into it the last year. If you don't know, this channel is all about technology, specifically like emerging technology, as well as video games. And then also like self-improvement. Also talk about fatherhood because, hey, I'm a single father to an amazing 5-year-old boy named Tanner. Also, if you've used Pi or if you have any suggestions on maybe other AIs that maybe I don't know about that have come out recently that are conversationalist AIs like that you think are really good that I should check out, or if you have tips or tricks on making ChatGPT act more like Pi or things like that, maybe leave a comment down below. Maybe you got a good prompt for ChatGPT to make it act like Pi.ai, like that empathetic type persona and stuff. I would love to hear that, see that. Thank you guys so much again for watching. Appreciate it. Love your faces, and I will see you guys on the next one. Until then, peace out, everybody. Later, nerds.